I always wanted to do these kinds of videos, watching other YouTubers like Nemesis, Biffweed and Delusions finding matchups for characters in a series really interests me, so that's what I'm gonna do, obviously starting with RWBY. And I might as well do this video before Nemesis does. So let's begin. The obvious matchup for her, Maka from Soul Eater, the popular legacy matchup, the iconic giant scythe-wielding girls, but that's really it, don't get me wrong. I think RWBY vs Maka is a pretty cool matchup and I don't mind it happening in Death Battle. And will definitely happen. But I would like to introduce you all to another RWBY matchup. And that is Scarlet from the Grim Reaper. Both her female giant scythe-wielding protagonists, both sharing similar color palettes, red, black, and white, both have someone that they care deeply about who they work together with, Yang and Chase, and were trained under people on how to use their abilities. Qrow and Brooke. Their main jobs are to go hunt the enemies that harm people. Grim and Sinners had unlocked a hidden power that they can use in dire situations. Silver Eyes and control demonic, and have a grudge against an individual. Cinder and Satan. Oh wow. Not gonna lie, I think this matchup is pretty good and I think it's better than Maka due to having more connections. The connections might be updated later on. It's because my friend Omega, who made the connections, shoutouts to him, is still watching RWBY and reading Grim Reaper to find more connections between the two. Overall, I like this matchup for RWBY. Weiss vs Eula from Genshin Impact. Former heiress of a family that was absolute garbage and is well known for it, the Schnee family and Lawrence clan, decided to go completely against what their family wanted. Eula became a Knight of Favonius. Weiss joined Beacon. They got banned from their family after opposing them. Eula told them that she would end the Lawrence clan if she has to. Weiss straight up arrested her dad, their main element being ice. They can summon and use swords. They are, and still act like nobles in the way they speak and had trust issues against their leader, but they eventually started to respect them. Yes. Finally. A good matchup for Weiss. Man, I'm so happy. Best matchup for her so far. I wish I didn't do the Weiss vs Polnareff trailer, or else I would have done this. Seeing the two fight each other would be interesting to see, and how they banter with each other. Also, I realized they use dance moves in their fighting styles. Weiss it's very graceful like a ballerina, and Eula dances like she's a tango dancer. Pretty cool, and hope this matchup gets more recognition. Blake vs Akame from Akame ga Kill. The calmest members of their team by far, acted very cold towards the main protagonists at first before eventually becoming good friends with them. Similar fighting style, also known as blitzing the opponent and slicing them, are best friends, and shipped, with a hot happy blonde girl with big boobs, had a very sad childhood, fought for a shady organization but eventually left after realizing how shady it was. Had to fight someone from the shady organization, Adam and Qrow, that got obsessed over them and had to kill them. It's a cool matchup. I like this better than Mikasa. I never liked Blake vs Mikasa, even when I first heard about it. Best alternative for Blake. Yang vs Akane from Danganronpa. If you know me, you know I really like this matchup. Big titty tomboys who are headstrong, tall, athletic, and have a curvaceous physique. They both love to fight strong opponents to push themselves to become even stronger, and their main way of fighting is usually punching. They love to punch everything. They basically have the same personality. Mostly Volume 1-3 Yang, but Yang doesn't have a big appetite for food like Akane. Both can get really angry and can get buffed from their anger. Despite them being very close with someone else, most of the time they never take it to the next level and become a couple. Nikamaru and Blake. They have mommy issues. Raven, Branwen and Akane's mom have little sisters. Yang and Akane had to be responsible to protect them at all cost when they were younger and deeply care about them. Ruby Rose and Akane's little sisters. They really care and want to protect the ones they love, even if some of those people aren't related to them. Got sent to another world, the Void Beach place in the Neo world, got stuck on a tropical island and have to find a way to escape. It's one of my favorite matchups for Yang so far. The potential, the fighting, the banter, the music, it'll be so awesome. It can start off as a friendly spar and then they go all out at each other, getting angry, punching each other so hard blood starts flying everywhere, and Akane gets up on some high place with her gymnast talent and then proceeds to very violently boot Yang's face. Basically this. And no, I'm not upset with Yang dying because I too like Akane, so I'm happy that she wins. Yeah, Yang dies is a bit of a shame, but hey, they're like the same to me, so it doesn't really matter. There's also Leon versus Yang, and I really like that matchup too. To be honest, I hope Death Battle uses Leon as Yang's opponent. I really don't want her to fight Bakugo. And if Death Battle brings Danganronpa to the show, if so, I'll be able to see the other Danganronpa matchups happen, and even this one. Who knows? Overall good matchup. Jaune vs. Washington from Red vs. Blue. Both were the laughingstocks of the highly renowned programs. Don't know what to use to link Beacon Academy and Project Freelancer, that they were part of, which ultimately crumbled due to members who destroyed it from the inside. In the aftermath, Washington and Jaune became much more competent, with one of their motivations being the death, or deaths in Washington's case, of their friend. They also had for Jaune, close relations with the badass redhead voiced by the same person who was one of the most renowned member of said program. It's a pretty cool matchup. I was originally gonna go with Sokka from Avatar, but I wanted someone else and I was gonna go with Tucker, which is a good alternative for Jaune, but instead I went for Washington. Seeing these two banter would be cool to see and will probably happen in Death Battle. Now thinking about it, Coralina and Washington are basically the Red vs. Blue versions of Pyrrha and Jaune, but cooler. Nora Valkyrie vs. Nobara Kujisaki from Jujutsu Kaisen. Hammer-wielding orange-haired girls who are known for being strong, crazy and badass, and they are friendly and caring for their companions. Make sure you don't get on their angry side. They attended a academy to learn how to kill the evil creatures in their worlds, becoming Jujutsu sorcerers at Jujutsu High to kill curses, and becoming huntsmen-huntresses at Beacon Academy to kill Grim. They also are part of a trio of teenagers, and being the only female on the team, their companions in those trios are the calm, intelligent straight man Megumi and Ren, and that said guy lost their fathers at a young age, Lee, Ren and Taji, and a more happy, tough, and dorky type guy who's like the leader of the team, Yuji and Jaune. In Nobara's and Nora's younger lives, their parents abandoned them, which made the girls pretty upset, but Nobara slowly didn't care about her parents. And the girls later on met someone who changed their lives for the better, became very close friends, and the reason of who they are currently. Nora's mother, who ran away from the Grim, left Nora behind, and Nora spending most of the time alone as an orphan, and eventually met Ren and helped Nora be more happy and cheerful, which led to Nora having a crush on Ren. Nobara's parents just leaving her, so she had to spend most of her time with her grandmother, and eventually met Sayorian, which led Nobara have an interest in fashion, sweets, Nobara being more on her feminine side, but still being strong. Nora and Nobara have supernatural abilities, semblance and curse technique, which associates with them using their bodies. Nora uses high voltage to charge up her body to send electricity into her muscles, giving her enhanced strength, and Nobara uses resonance to use herself like a straw doll to inflict pain onto others, like Nobara stabbing herself in the wrist and the enemy feels the pain and not her. Also, their names are similar. You can do a cool fight with the girls' banter and fighting. Having Nora hit hard and tanking most of Nobara's hits, Nobara being much more quicker to dodging her attacks and being strategic using her curse technique, Nora launching her missiles at Nobara, and Nobara shoots her nails at the missiles and blowing them up. Let's say if Nobara finally breaks Nora's aura, she can smack her across the face over and over again. When Nobara walks away thinking she finally got her, Nora dashes at Nobara ready to hit her at the back of the head, but Nobara notices and blows her up using hairpin. And we could say there was like a nail somewhere on Nora's body, so Nobara was able to use hairpin. It's a really great and thematic matchup and her best for both. I'd love to see DB do this fight. I don't want Nobara to fight Sakura. I know that won't likely happen, but still. And I don't really like Nora's other matchups, but Kyoko is cool. I want to spread this matchup to others and get people interested in this. It's so good. Oh yeah. Nobara does have power and Yang, which are also cool too, but I really like this matchup a lot. Best match! Pyrrha vs. Carolina from Red vs. Blue. Red-haired warriors who also happen to be voiced by Jen Brown, who were the most skilled members of their respective highly trained organizations, and debuted in a Rooster Teeth show animated by Monty Room, and has a relationship with a blonde boy. It's a good matchup. I'd like to see this happen on Death Battle one day. Don't know why they didn't do this matchup when they used Carolina for a Death Battle. Oh well. Ren vs. Neji from Naruto. two minor characters from two different franchises, with powers of aura manipulation, and are known for their calm demeanor while around teammates who are, more or less, the opposite of their respected personalities, rely on the calmest and methodical fighters to come up with strategies and make sure their team keeps a level head, even if one of their teammates are the rowdiest of the bunch. It's a neat matchup, Ren's best in my opinion. I think Niji wins this. Or Ren might have the advantage, because of his weapons. Cinder vs Azula from Avatar. Power-hungry evil girls who have fire powers. Yeah, that's really it for this matchup. Yeah, sorry, it's the best I could think of for Cinder. I hope Azula wins though, cause I like her. Emerald vs Whisk from Sunset Paradise. Female villains from popular web series were henchwomen to the villains of the show, but wanted to stop doing their evil deeds. Emerald joined the good side to stop working for Cinder. Salem and Whisk is sick of being a cat burglar for Benedict. She never wanted to be a criminal in the first place, but later on declared that she would work for herself for her criminal ways can make people hallucinate. Emerald uses her semblance and Whisk uses her gas gun, very stealthy, and they use guns and sharp blades or cat claws to fight. It's a pretty neat matchup and could work. Also, it's a RWBY, so that's neat. Mercury vs Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen. These two don't have any special abilities, semblance and curse technique, unlike most of the characters in their series, but are shown to be very skilled, strong and able to beat other semblance/curse users without having one of their own, and both having similar smug and cocky personalities. It's also good guy versus bad guy too, I guess. It's fine, but it is better than Mercury's other matchups in my opinion. Like Sanji for example. Merc and Sanji is just guys who are good at kicking, and that's really it. The fight and dialogue potential would be cool to see with Merc and Maki. Seeing Mercury saying some one-liners at Maki, to then Maki saying some comebacks to Merc, and they are both clever when thinking of strategies and fighting. Roman Torchwick vs Zwei and Akahara from Bungo Stray Dogs. Hat-wearing, charming, cane-wielding smooth criminals of the underworld and commit crime in style. I know nothing about him or Bungo Stray Dogs, but from what I've seen he does somewhat vibe with Roman. I think the banter would be cool. Better than Joker from DC. Neo vs Umbrella from Hounds Nojo. Something about two umbrella, or parasol, wielding villains from web animation shows who are very skillful in fighting and are untouchable, I guess. It vibes. Tyrian vs Kimberly from Fullmetal Alchemist. Both are crazed yet generally well-spoken when out of their respective breaks of psychopathic charges, with notable instances of manipulating and questioning the ideologies of the protagonists, secondary characters, and even most of the antagonists alike. Both fighters showcased an inherent sense of fulfillment from slaughtering groups at a time, and got close to taking out some of the best of their series' protagonists, consistently keeping them down both physically and mentally, with their own lunatic senses driving to such an extent that even the most insanity-striking areas and states inflicted towards both fighters were nothing more than average, or even outright enjoyable for long periods at a time. A matchup for Tyrian that isn't just Scorpion. Yay. Love to see these killers fighting each other. Seriously, you can do crazy awesome shit with these two. Watts vs Waluigi from Super Mario. Tall, lanky purple dudes with nice looking mustaches who will fucking roast you and are very great at dancing. Yeah, based matchup. Hazel vs Dreadwing from Transformers Prime. Both of these giant looking guys who served for the main villain, both lost their siblings, blamed someone for their deaths even though that person didn't do anything to them. But Prime was there when Skyquake died, I guess. One point he even worked with those said guys they hated against the main villain, and which led to them getting killed. Yes, this has connections. I know it's dumb. Best I could think for Hazel. There's probably one out there for him, but this what you're getting for now. Adam vs Gideon from Scott Pilgrim. Sword-wielding asshole ex-boyfriends to one of the female characters, Ramona and Blake. Leaders of two villainous groups, the White Fang and the Seven Exes, who also got their ass handed to them to their ex's boyfriend/girlfriend Scott and Yang. It's a pretty good matchup, interesting as well with great banter and choreography. It's also an Adam also that's based. Not gonna lie, I should start watching Scott Pilgrim. Raven vs Reiko from Fate. Bad moms who were member of a team of monster slayers, Oni and Grims, who happens to wield katana and the elements when using their power, Raven with her maiden power and Raquel when using Ox King Stormcall. Their kids are energetic gold-themed people who usually punch first and ask questions later. Both of them had a redemption, still in process for Raven though. There might be more to it, though the matchup is kinda neat. Salem vs Zara from Fairy Tail. They literally have the backstory. Instead of brothers for Salem, it's lovers, and something about them being immortal too. Yeah, the matchup is fine. Zareth probably wins, in a fight and being a good villain Mayo. Sun vs Cat Noir from Miraculous Ladybug. Both are very cool blonde dudes who like to joke around, using staffs to fight baddies, having animal-like traits to them. Sun being a monkey faunus and Chat being a cat-themed superhero, and they also partnered up with a girl and wanna tap their asses even though they're pretty shit. Yeah, sounds like it could work. Seeing the banter with these guys would be great. Neptune vs Ninja from Fortnite. They look similar and have cool guns. I mean, come on. Carden vs Biff from Back to the Future. Both these big hulking typical high school bullies with 3 other goons that follow them. This is dumb, but I love it lol. Seeing Biff and Carden's team fighting each other would be epic. Glinda vs Lisa from Genshin Impact. Both older women who are librarians, both related to witches. Lisa being a proficient witch in Glinda's original fairy tale and also uses magic which is mostly purple themed. And mommy material. There's probably more but I don't know much about Genshin Impact, and it's all I could think of for Glinda. Peter Port vs One Punch Man. The 2 most epic and powerful characters to ever exist. Destroying their opponents with ease and will also destroy your favorite verse. And is getting a not death battle soon and I'm hyped about it. One Punch Man for the win. Oobleck vs Eminem. They talk super fast, not gonna lie, an epic rap battle between the 2 would be amazing. Ozpin vs Dumbledore from Harry Potter. Very old headmasters of an academy, use magic and her rivals with a villain in black and white. It's not really that good. Qrow vs Eason from Tales of Systeria. Qrow and Eason are both extremely unlucky individuals due to a power they possess. The Reaper's curse and the semblance. Both of them had to left our family in order to protect them from the bad luck. Both of them had to join groups in order to save the world from selfish individuals. Artorias Colbrand and Salem. They live in a world full of monsters born from negative emotions. The Grims and the Daemons, and finally both of them can turn into animals. Qrow into a Qrow, and Eason into a big fucking dragon. They also have complicated relationship with their sis for very different reason and they ended up fighting them at some point. Yeah, it's a stamp. But hey, this matchup is really good, and my other favorite RWBY matchup, there's Azara from My Hero which is fine, but I really like this more. Oscar vs Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen. Both these teens were regular people and then suddenly had some very old guy living in their body, and that said guy possessed them once in a while, is forced to go on an adventure collecting stuff along the way. Sukuna's fingers in the relax, making new friends and enemies on their journeys, always getting painfully injured and later on unlocking their special abilities, semblance and curse technique. I can't believe this has connections. What's with RWBY and Jujutsu? Penny vs Sane from Ninjago. These 2 may look like an average person from a first glance, but they're actually androids, Nindroid, built by their respected inventor fathers to fight evil as well as to be like their own child. Despite the robotic anatomy, they have the heart and soul of a human and have a desire to fully become one. Alongside their human friends and teammates and with their weapons and ice powers, they will fight for both for what's right in their humanity, and not even death can stop them. Until Volume 8 happened. It's a great matchup, my favorite RWBY and Ninjago matchup actually. And I both like these characters. I was thinking that Death Battle could start the fight off as a Lego stop motion and then to transition into 3D and the fight still going. Or the other way around. You can do many cool things with both of them using their ice powers and how they use them. Penny using her string blades and Zane using his shurikens. I hope this matchup happens one day on Death Battle. Coco vs Zarya from Overwatch. Women with big gun. Yeah, this matchup sucks. I'm still trying to find a good matchup for Coco. One day, Coco. One day. Velvet vs Amy from Arknights. They are both cute bunny girls that use lots of weapons in their arsenals in combat. They are cute. I know nothing about Arknights, but it seems neat. Fox vs Mirage from Transformers Dark of the Moon. Both having similar appearances like color, weapons, and also having less screen time. Fox literally looks like a human version of Mirage. Maria vs Yoda from Star Wars. Little elderly people who look harmless at first, but would easily kick your ass, having very good reflexes, and her mentors of the main protagonists, Maria helping RWBY with her silver eyes and Yoda training Luke to use the Force. It's pretty cool in my opinion. Winter vs Pyrrha from Skullgirls. Both are oldest sisters that are raised in a high-class kingdom where one of their parents are corrupted, and specializes in fencing swordsmanship, is high-ranked in the military of said kingdom as a commander, with his bratty little sisters that gets themselves into danger, including Pyrrha's ending. Both unlocked a power-up that only can access as a female, maidens and the Skullgirls, for protecting their family and friends, where the Skullgirl will corrupt Pyrrha. Salem has to have her sister to featuring her when she does, while Winter failed to save Weiss from the void. It's a really good matchup, better than Neo vs Pyrrha in my opinion. And Winter is queen, so her getting in versus is poggers. James Ironwood vs Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan. Fan favorites of their respective franchises at their peak as protagonists, not counting Volume 8 Ironwood so far, because that's a 180 of hell, whom are both the forefront leaders of the most notable fighting factions in their respective series against the main enemy forces, Scouting Legion to the Titans, and Atlas Military to the Grim, with a sense of grayness to their moral choices, as they both are willing to do anything and everything regardless of the sacrifice partaken to achieve their goals and the safety of their nations. Both leaders also are consequently haunted up to their later years by the sheer degree of death their roles and decisions have had to play by throughout their lives and such, but press on with their near unrivaled willpower in the end, taking the gambles and bloody burdens up for the soldiers they ultimately motivate out with themselves. Both also showcase this extraordinary willpower in life-threatening scenarios involving both fighter arms as the consequent sacrifice in their missions. It's a good matchup with lots of potential, fighting and especially dialogue. You could have the two talk about what's right for their cities and the people from their own ideals. The fight could start off as them being former, and then later on in the fight have them go all out at each other. I like both these characters, but sadly James got ruined, and these two up against each other would be interesting to see. The only RWBY and Attack on Titan matchup I find interesting. There's also Handsome Jack too, but sadly I don't know much about him because he looks like a cool guy and the voice actor who voiced him did a great job. Clover vs Nageto from Danganronpa. They were both lucky. That's it. Harriet vs Miruko from My Hero Academia. High-ranking female combatants of their respective organizations, Aesops and Pro Heroes. Both fighters share a similarly loud and active nature with an eternal connection with fighting, both as a solution to their issues and just combat as a whole. Despite their seemingly lax nature regarding conflict, both women have a key resolve to the task at hand when it comes down to it, and are willing to go through crippling danger and teams of foes at a time if it means getting the job done in its entirety, making two, also both having a bunny-like theme to their characters, Harriet's inspiration and Miruko's quirk. Fun fact, they share the same English voice actor. Oh, and thick thighs too. TBH, I wouldn't mind this happening one day. Zwei vs Iggy from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Little cute black and white dogs who got yeeted. I mean, come on, they were both dogges. Dogges are cute. And finally, the last RWBY matchup. Bumblebee vs Bumblebee from Transformers. Black and yellow racing machines who like to ride around with a female buddy, go around to many places and happen to have the same name, and it's car versus bike. Pretty base, not gonna lie. And that is it. Not gonna lie, I had a fun time making this list of RWBY matchups and making all of the thumbnails to share to you all. I know I said I would do every matchup for RWBY characters, but I didn't do every single character in the show like some of the Aesops and some of the other background characters, but hey, who cares? Hope you guys enjoyed this video though. Did you like some of these matchups? Do you not like these matchups at all? Well, share your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And what other RWBY matchups do you like? Sorry if you're getting sick of this Siri voice. Time for me to end this video off with a yank. See you guys next time. Bye.